Namaste, I'm Shubhi Mathur, and I welcome you all to yet another episode of Break the Bias series of Let Us Talk. We hope this series is making you aware that biases exist not only in our society but within ourselves too. No matter how evolved or progressive we may feel we have become, biases are everywhere. They do exist. I may be moderating a series on Break the Bias, but I know there are so many biases within me. So let us make an effort. Let us make a conscious effort to break the bias. Today, let us break the bias. Let us stop ourselves from falling in the trap of self pity. Let us welcome Ms. Mansi Shukla, who has work experience of more than 20 years in the corporate world. She started her entrepreneurial journey in 2016 with no tech background, and today she is the co founder of two more tech enabled ventures, one of them being a sports app. So, welcome, Mansi. Welcome on Let Us Talk. It's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you, Shubhi. Thank you so much for inviting me. First of all, I would like to say that I've been following this channel ever since it has started. In fact, we were in the conversation when you were conceptualizing this particular thing also. And I must say, you're doing a brilliant job creating content for people, seniors specifically, and then molding it to a manner so that it can be consumed age across. I think it's brilliant. You're doing a brilliant job. Pat your back.
As you know, we are doing the series Break the Bias. And while conceptualizing, articulating this series, we realize that biases are more within us. So today, we are going to talk on a very interesting topic: how people get into self pity mode, how this self pity mode enables others to form an opinion, a notion, and then eventually a bias. You are one of the very few people I know who do not fall in this trap, and that is why you are invited here to share your thoughts. So, let me start with a bias which mostly people feel or experience at a workplace. Have you ever felt or experienced any bias in your professional journey?
You're always very generous, Shubhi, by calling me not being one of those who fell into this self pity mode. But this mode of self pity, being getting falling into self pity, actually is gender agnostic. Uh,
Yeah.
I would say, Shubhi, self pity does not look at a male or a female. Somebody. It is all created within yourself. So anybody who's not able to cope up with the pressures around them, anybody who's unable to deliver to the expectations, unable to meet commitments, unable to evolve and move on, unable to upgrade and upskill, anybody can fall into that trap. So I would say one has to be very, very consciously looking within themselves and keep motivating their own self to not get into that trap. I would say I was very, very lucky. About 13 years of banking experience, I had literally never been into a gender bias space. My bosses were very, very cooperative. They never differentiated between a male counterpart of mine or me. So I used to idly handle operations, but my bosses made sure that I go out on sales call, make telecalls, be on all desks which were there on the floor. So that by the time I am ready for my first promotion, I knew the entire work flow in a retail bank. So I would say that I chose to keep learning, give my 100%, and stay there to scale higher heights.
It's so nice to hear that your workplace was fair and your boss was judicious. You were given equal and fair opportunities. But for a woman, particularly woman, I'm asking for this thing. The home front is equally important. How was that handled? You stay in Bombay, your office was in another extreme part of the town. You were shuttling between home and office. You had two small kids. So how was that handled? Sometimes कभी ये situation तो आती होगी. आज जल्दी जाना है. There's a PTM happening. Today's sports day, or I have guests at home. I have to be there on time. So and these small things do help in perceiving some kind of opinion in others' mind. So how did you handle such situations?
So yes, you're true. We have our own set of problems coming with us when we go to work. But I think we as individuals, and again, I will not say only women specifically, everybody has to has a plan B. Everybody has to have somebody backing up for them, whether it is at workplace or it is at home. So you have to prioritize. You have to see where are you needed in that moment most. So if it is my child's PTM, which happens thrice, so maybe I'll go once, my spouse will fill in for the second time, and third time maybe the grandparents go. Also, if it is their event like an annual sports day, which happens only once, I would want to be a part of that program. I will prioritize. I will inform at workplace in advance. I will host people maybe after work or maybe early morning at the beach or whatever. It is about catching up, and people who want to meet up can meet up anytime. Prioritizing your time, your people, your situation is very, very important.
I
Also, like you mentioned, that my office was far away. I used to drive down to work. I use that time very, very wisely. So time management again helps a lot. On my way driving to work, I would call up my parents. I would speak to my siblings. I will catch up with friends. I'll listen to podcasts. On those stressful days, maybe some bhajan and aarti. So that was my me time, and I think that also rejuvenates you for the rest of the day. Like I said, when I was working, once the kids were born, I had my parents and in-laws taking turns staying with me for a month every time, and taking care of home and the kids. So there were parent teacher meetings, there were some events. I would sometimes initially feel that I should run back from work, I should go attend, why should I bother my parents, why should I bother my in-laws? But we don't realize, they also love to do things for their grandkids. For us, we feel that we are pressurizing them, but they are thoroughly enjoying that journey of bringing up their grandkids.
we get on a guilt trip that we are bothering them, or it might be a pressure to them. So somehow those guilt trips come that why bother anyone else when we can do it. So sometimes we stretch ourselves, and उस stretch ourselves में ही I think we fall in that self pity trap कि हाय मैं इतना कर रही हूँ, मैं ऑफिस भी इतना दूर है, वो भी कराई, and then I attended my child's PTM also. So at times, like you rightly said, it is always good to ask for help, and nothing like family. So yes, and all these small things do help us to not fall in this trap of self pity.
Once the kids were grown up enough where they can be independently handling a lot of things, we kind of paused this setup of my parents and in-laws coming in and out. They have a choice to come and visit us, unlike how it was like a compulsion earlier. So now it is a nuclear family, four of us. Both of us are working, me and my husband, and here I would say that I have tremendous support from my partner. It's like while I'm working, I have to travel, I have meetings, I have late nights, I may have to stay over and over a work trip. So it is no more like I am owning up all the responsibilities. It is he has been very, very instrumental. Had he not, I would not have been sitting here and talking to you guys as an entrepreneur. So I would give a lot of credits to this. And today I would say again, men are cooperative. All of us.
100%. 100%. The biggest support comes from partner, and it is vice versa. For a male also, the biggest support is from his wife. Yeah.
So where we are living in independent setup, I would say family, apart from family, it is a lot of friend support also that we have. There are times when both of us are traveling. There are friends, very close friends, who have either came in and stayed at our place, or the kids have moved to their house and stayed there. So this kind of a support system gives a lot of confidence to us also, to not feel a fact that the kids are being neglected, the kids are we are not taking care of them. Like we are talking, like you said, Shubhi, that I'm one of those persons who you've never seen in a self pity mode. Everybody goes through, it is very normal, but the fact is that how soon you realize and you want to get feel better or get out of it. Like when I used to work, it used to be late when I'm coming back, so I would be standing in traffic at the signals, and then I would see this book guy coming with a bunch of books, and I would quickly pick up two books for my kids, or there is somebody who's come with a soft toy or a gun or whatever. I would just try to pick up something from there for the kids, so that when I go home I'm guilt free, that okay, I have got something for you. um, Gradually I realized that no, this is not what it is. The kids have to learn to not have me around all the time. This will make them handle themselves in certain situations on their own. They will make decisions. Of course, when they were too small, they were parents, but as they were growing up, as they are now, they are 13 and 11. So they have a set of keys. They come in home, they open the door themselves, they come in, they heat their snacks, they pour their milk, they manage their own things. At this one point also, I remember I used to feel that I had a full-timer help then. So I used to feel that kids look at her face every time they wanted to eat something or they needed something. And I used to feel very, very guilty that, why are my kids not talking to me for things? That's when I realized that it's okay. I am in their life for bigger and better things. It's not my duty alone to feed them. And if I can afford a help, why not? Or even if I don't have a help, if I'm traveling, I'm not at home, my husband fills in for me. He makes breakfast for them. He'll make dabba for them to take to school. I think this support system, this feeling within us to let go, trust people that they will handle things in the same manner, if not better at least. So that is also very important to not fall into a trap of self pity.
So these two situations which you described right now are very natural. We all go on a guilt trip and we don't even realize in that guilt we start, that self pity कि हाय मतलब मैं कैसे करूं मैं घर भी बच्चे भी. So didn't you have such moments?
So, Shubhi, at this point, when I realized that I was unable to do justice both at my workplace at home, I decided to take a break. I took a break. I started working from home, tried to build up a company. So what I feel again is that is within us to choose whether we want to keep sulking and keep doing the same thing again and again and get hurt and feel sorry about the situation, or we decide to move on, think through, accept what is happening, and then take a direction which could pull us out of that situation.
It's so nice to hear that your workplace was judicious. You had a fair boss. You had a tremendous support from your family, your partner. Your kids are independent. But कहते हैं ना कि reality सबके लिए ऐसी नहीं होती है. There are people who have no support from family. So what message do you have for them to deal with such situations?
I would say, Shubhi, there are a few things which each of us should keep in our mind, to set that expectation in the first instance. However much you've known a person, however much you've been together, there's always a situation which is a first time, and you should set expectation right at that point in time. Like I kept saying throughout the video, that we have to accept the fact. First, we have to realize and accept the fact that we are falling into that self-pity mode. Realize as soon as possible and look for options. Evolve, not get into that loop and keep sulking about things. We should learn to prioritize things. Unless we are happy, we can never make anybody else happy. Upgrade and upskill. Pick up a new hobby, add a skill for yourself. Like I have started learning drums now. It feels so satisfying. I look forward to my weekly classes. It is very, very rejuvenating. It brings me home happier than anything else, more than my work also now. you should also be committed to what you are doing. Whenever you think you are doing something half heartedly, it will never help. And like I said, and I'm saying it again, ask for help. There are
Yeah.
people who are there in your life for a purpose. Call for help, they'll always stand up for you. Learn to let go. They might do things even better than what you thought they could. Self pity, like we've been saying, is only a state of mind. It's a mental barrier. And only you, if you choose to, can get out of it.
On this note, let us break the bias. Stop yourself from falling in the trap of self pity and let others forming opinion about you or biases about you. Let us break the bias. Thank you so much, Mansi. Thank you for being here.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Shubhi. It's a pleasure.